Hey there, Breakers. I want to talk to you about Sabers, or at least the Sabers we had access to in the ONT. Beam sabers and the like are one of the most iconic weapons in Gundam, and here they serve a very average power, average utility, ease of use role. Likely the most common weapon type we're going to get, and one that pairs well as either one-hand or two-hand weapon. The niche they claim to fill is also one of ease of canceling into EX skills and option skills. Essentially, their animations never leave you locked in too long, letting you easily just option or cancel into an attack skill at will. The first category to talk about is the basic Saber animation. It is a reliable and simple moveset. When you have a distance from the enemy, you will actually lunge in a tiny bit on your first attack, which is perfect for closing distance. And when you do it close enough, the lunge is disabled, and you continue on to the basic, wherever it is, 5-6 hit string. It's just a solid, average damage, fast attack string that ends with a kick that knocks the opponent away. The aerial version of it is very similar, just a 4-5-6 combo with a kick that knocks them away. Very easy to chase after and follow up. Sabers also get access to a fairly unique launcher by holding forward and holding in the attack button. It does a rising uppercut that sends both you and your opponent into the air, which is great for aerial follow-ups. Finally, by holding that attack button on neutral, it does a swinging sweep around yourself. It is not a full 360, but it does have an appreciable range and knocks people back, making a good panic button. Won't anyone behind you, but it's more than okay for getting multiple foes. Next up will be the fan favorite Katana, found on things like Gerberus Straight on Red Frame. Like regular Saber, you have a lunge in your basic attack before you go into the combo string. The ground combo string is a flashy and pretty basic series of hits into a knockback, just like basic Saber. Just different flourish, different animation. The aerial as well, similar utility. You get a couple of hits in before a knockback. Serviceably does his job perfectly well. Now, Katana's real interesting utility is while holding down that button, attack button, any position, gets you a quick little EI sword wave slash. Now, you are locked pretty hard into the animation on both ends of it, but sending that wave out is a really effective way to chase combos, or extend your attack range, or just hit someone out of reach. You cannot do it in the air, you have to be grounded, and it does not have a perfect range, but it has a damn respectable one. Katanas, like regular Sabers, also have access to that on-demand launcher, and you can use it comboed together with the EI wave for a nice little, The horizontal range on that wave is pretty wide too, and it's fairly easy to catch more than one enemy in it. Keep them knocked down, keep them on their toes. Making quick detour into the least impactful type is SD Sword. As far as I can tell, the only real difference between SD Sword and regular Saber is that little footsie-outy lunge on the initial range move-in. The little lunge attack has your little foot going, woo! Otherwise, it seems to have the exact same strings as regular Saber. Maybe traits can affect it differently, but for now, there's no real benefit. Saber Twin Blade combo is extra goofy. You find it on stuff like Strike Freedom or Justice. Regular ground strings identical to Saber. The aerial string as well is the exact same as you see on regular Saber. No changes there. What really pops off is holding down that attack button. At neutral, you do a two-handed overhead spinning spin that will slowly move you forward, sucking in and constantly damaging anything you contact with, but it uses up boost gauge as you do so, and will last till you run out of boost gauge or let go of the button. The AoE range is pretty close around you, but you can get quite a few people with it. Holding forward while doing that does this little Russian spinny helicopter blade thing that's kind of hard to hit with, but gets you a lot of distance covered fast. can also pick up multiple enemies along the way. Now, at any point during that combo, you can hold the button down and do a third type of overhead helicopter with pretty generous fake range on it. You can easily catch a lot of enemies for a high hit count boost. Finally, my personal favorite, we have the fencing saber type. Right now we have Guyan's beam saber, but I'm sure you can find other things like Rose or Vidar. You have a lunge in on range attack, as Saber does. The regular ground combo string is a very effective series of lunging stabs with a lot of horizontal reach and movement. They come out rapidly, they cover a lot of ground, they do a good amount of knockback. The aerial version as well is a similar combo, a little million stab built in, and a little swish to send people away. The swish has surprising range. Holding the attack button will do this little flurry of million stab move that's great for building up a combo chain. You can also mash out the button as you're using it to get more hits out of the combo attack.
Breakdown.
Once it initiates, just keep slapping that triangle or square, whichever. Finally, while holding forward and holding the attack button, do the full-on Psycho Crusher. This covers fantastic distance, can draw in multiple enemies, but the damage itself is a little low. Still great utility, and you can use it in the air. Personally, for my money, I believe that Fencing Saber is my favorite overall utility pick for Sabers. It's just really super fun. You can also get a limited version of it in option form off Guyan shield. Not quite as good, you're missing a lot of potential. As a fun little note, while two-handed sabers are weapons, getting launchers part of their string is nothing unique, the Fencing Saber gets a fun little unique looking pop-up, where it does an extra little stab-up. I really, really like that. Otherwise, it doesn't perform any real different than a saber in a two-hand setup. While these handful of sabers were in the open network test, I'm sure we're going to do a whole bunch of different weapon types in the full release, and I cannot wait to explore them all.